Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, and today I thought it was time to give the Gneisenau a fair old crack of the whip, or the Gneisenau as certain Austrian ex-governors of California have been known to refer to it, because I've been talking the smack about the Gneisenau for quite some time now. Don't think I haven't noticed. And, well, it is a terrible ship. So it really does kind of deserve it, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun or even do well in a terrible ship. You know, even a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. Just look at World of Tanks. I absolutely adore the TOG too, but it's utter garbage. And sailing the Gneisenau for us today is Black Hatches. No, I don't get it. Is that supposed to mean something? If it does, I don't get it. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything, it just means I'm old and crap and I don't get it, but anyway. He's going to be having some fun in the Gneisenau today. So, as if we haven't already flogged this particular horse to death, what exactly is it about the Gneisenau that makes it so bad? Well, it's two things, really. The first are the guns. It's armed with 15-inch guns, and because that's quite a large caliber, well, it's not actually. 15-inch was considered a large caliber back when this ship was introduced for a Tier 7 battleship, but it really isn't anymore. And unfortunately it still only has the 6 of them, and they are horribly inaccurate. And when you only have 6 guns firing, you really need to make every shot count, and the Gneisenau almost never does, because of the just piss poor accuracy. And the other thing that makes the Gneisenau bad is the fact that it's Tier 7, which unfortunately, because of the way World of Warships mostly works, means that while she is overall well armoured, she's got a good thick belt, she's got a turtle back protecting her citadel. She only has 27mm of bow plating. Battleships don't start getting 32mm of bow plating until they reach Tier 8. And since Tier 7 battleships can face Tier 8s and Tier 9s, most of the time, there's going to be an awful lot of 16 or even 18-inch guns firing at this ship that are going to completely overmatch the bow plating. And potentially, in certain circumstances, also overmatch some of her deck plating. So that's considerably less than good. But it's not all bad news in the Gneisenau. Aside from the questionable bow, stern, and in some places deck plating, she is a well-armoured, tough, durable ship. She has turtle back arrangement covering her citadel, which basically makes this ship next to impossible to score citadel hits on unless you get lucky with plunging fire through the deck at long range. But at medium and short range, it's next to impossible to citadel a Gneisenau. And she is also extremely fast. She's easily able to keep pace with any escorting cruisers, and rather than forming a battle line at the back of the map with the other battleships, well, I'm not saying Gneisenau players don't do that, but they're on a fast road to nowhere if that's how they play, because the shitty accuracy of the guns means that you're basically going to do no damage. And this ship really does kind of excel as a brawler, because it's got the tough belt armour, the well-protected citadel, the torpedoes with a 6-kilometre range, although only 3 per side, and also pretty impressive secondaries for a Tier 7 battleship. She's also deceptively stealthy for a battleship. If you take the concealment expert skill, although you can't take the concealment mod equipment slot because that's only available at Tier 8 or higher, but you can get the Gneisenau's concealment down to 13.1 kilometres. That's like cruiser equivalent. Okay, it's not particularly stealthy cruiser equivalent like the Miyoko, for example, but it's still cruiser equivalent, which means that the Gneisenau has all of the tools that it really needs to close to and fight and win at medium to short ranges, which is exactly what blacks do in here. And is also the reason why I despair whenever I see Gneisenaus surfing the map border trying to snipe ships 13, 14, 15 kilometres away. The ship just isn't designed to do it. Of course, you need to have a plan as well. You need to temper that aggression with some caution, because while the Gneisenau is a tough ship, even if you're top tier, you will not last long if you just charge straight forward without any kind of backup or support, or a plan to shield yourself from the barrage of enemy fire that you will be subjected to, because while it's very, very difficult to citadel a Gneisenau, that 27mm plating does mean that she eats a lot of armour-piercing penetrations, and she will not be able to stand up to that forever. What on earth is this kite twin doing? Honestly, if you had torpedoes, this might have been a good idea. But you don't. I mean, I know the Gneisenau has a reputation for inaccuracy, but hell, at this range the crew could throw the shells at you and hit. Although he's frying bigger fish. I'm not sure he really wants to poke out from behind the island here, actually. I mean, slotting in the gap between the islands there was great, because it stopped all of those guys from shooting at him, and he only had to deal with the Dutchman over there. But then again, none of those others appear to be interested in shooting at him, and it's only really the Dutch cruiser, whose name I feel like I should be able to pronounce, but I can't. Cake? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, he's dead, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So he was the only one really shooting at him. Now for the Prinz Heinrich and the Mutsu, and he is very wisely targeting the Mutsu first, and the reason for that is because the Prinz Heinrich is also armed with 15-inch guns, which cannot overmatch 27mm of bow armour, but the Mutsu's 16-inch guns can. Then again, none of the Mutsu's gun turrets are pointing in the right direction, so this should be relatively easy, and in fact was. Does need to watch out though, because like the Gneisenau, the Mutsu has a surprise. It's armed with torpedoes. I think it can only launch 2 from each side, but they're on a very, very short cooldown, and they definitely have the range to get here. The Prinz Heinrich, however, is in that extremely unfortunate situation that battleship players often find themselves in through no real fault of their own. Where the hell did the rest of my team go? I'm sure there were friendly ships behind me a minute ago. What happened? And anyway, he's dead too. What's that, Akazuki? You often find yourself in that position too? Well, but you're a destroyer. It's not unusual for that to happen to a destroyer. Yes, I know, it's just as upsetting, but it's probably more upsetting if you're in a battleship, you know, trying to lead from the front, and then your team gets wiped out behind you. Wouldn't you say? Well, you don't agree? You think it's worse if you're in a destroyer? But, Akazuki, if you're in a destroyer, you can just stealth up and run away. If you're in a battleship, you are what we in the Navy refer to as proper fucked. Yeah, she's got no answer for that one. No, too late. You had your chance, you blew it. I win. Those are the rules that I just made up. That's how you win arguments around here. Anyway, that Shawls definitely needs to die. He's the biggest threat to the Gneisenau now. Oh, he's reserving the rear turret for the Marblehead. Hey, you never know your luck. No, let's face it, this is a Gneisenau. He's never going to hit him. Not with 2 shots. The reason the Shawls is dangerous is because he's almost certainly dumped... Oh, he's firing armor piercing. Interesting choice. The Shawls is a fantastic long-range, high-explosive spanner. The problem for the Shawls there is that he is not at long range, he's inside secondary range. And he's dead, so yeah. Although he does also have torpedoes, and while they don't have a great range, a fast battleship like the Gneisenau will have no problems catching up to them if he dumped them. Oh, wow, nice. Oh, there's the Kraken. And it was a double strike. He took out the Marblehead as well. So, yeah, the Shawls may have dumped some torpedoes as he was running away, but, well, Black has been manoeuvring. And he did momentarily duck into cover behind the island there. All of that will have slowed him down a little, and while he's piling on the speed now again, the Shawls' torpedoes only have a 4-kilometre range, and I think he was about 8 kilometres away at the point where he would have launched them, so Black's probably safe from any unexpected torpedo surprises. Meanwhile, if I can just draw your attention to the map, particularly the eastern flank, the Colorado, the Surrey, the Badioni, the Omaha... Oh, I think those may have been Marblehead torpedoes, but either way, they've missed. None of them are actually in a position to start shooting at anything, and they haven't been for some time because they've been lagging so far behind as Black charged ahead. That is not good news for Black, because all of those enemy ships over there are rapidly running out of targets to shoot at to the south. They've just sunk the Minsk. The Makarov over there is on a fraction of health, so they're all going to be fighting to get the kill on him. And the only other ship down there is a Julio Cesario, who's beaten a hasty retreat. So at some point, well, at least one of them have realised that the cap is being flipped, and there's a half-health Gneisenau over here to shoot at. And it's only a matter of time before the rest of them come to the same conclusion. Although they're taking a surprising amount of time to finish off that Makarov, which is going to be distracting. No, too late. They got him. Right. Black could be in a lot of trouble now, because most players tend to shoot at the closest thing that they can see. And until about a minute ago, that was the Makarov and the Minsk. And now it's black. And he is flipping this cap. And yet, it's still really only the Piotr Veliki over there who's bothering to shoot at him. I mean, this is fine. I'll take it. Oh no. Somebody else has realised that there's an enemy battleship in the cap circle. Oh, no, he's shooting at the Omaha behind him. Well, of course he is. It's an Omaha. It's made out of citadels. I mean, if I had a choice between a Gneisenau on half health and an Omaha on any amount of health, and I was in a battleship, or hell, even a light cruiser, I'd probably be shooting at the Omaha too. Black appears to be determined to stay inside this cap circle and get those capture points, and he's done it because, hey, at the end of the day, points do make prizes. Now it's, well, I'm not necessarily sure it is time to pile the speed on, because while the team do have 3 of the 4 caps, they're on the same number of ships. He's popped a heel, but look at these targets, man. Come on, Florida. I know it's a Gneisenau with a reputation of not being able to hit the side of a barn from the inside, but this isn't exactly long range, is it? Oh, those torpedoes do look nasty. Okay, he's going to take 2. But some careful rudder and throttle control ensured that no more than 2. So where is that destroyer? Now, these depth charge planes are not going to spot a destroyer. They can't spot anything. But if the destroyer has not turned his AA guns off, and again, very, very nicely done. Oh, and a citadel. Oh, and there's the destroyer, the Jaguar. Instantly focuses in with the secondaries. To his credit, the Jaguar did have his anti-aircraft guns turned off. He was not revealed because he was shooting at aircraft that couldn't spot him anyway. He just managed to blunder inside detection range. The Jaguar's stock concealment is 7.2 kilometers, and I think he was spotted at exactly 7, which suggests he doesn't have concealment expert, but he is using camouflage. And Black is really not showing any signs of slowing down here. Although his team do have these surviving enemy ships caught in a crossfire now. The Julio Cesare out of the south has turned around. And that was some nasty armour-piercing chunk damage from the Piotr Veliki over there. Well, 2 can play at that game, Boris. How'd you like them potatoes? That just leaves the Nelson. Well, the Nelson and 2 destroyers. And while the Nelson isn't exactly making himself a difficult target to hit, he is armed with 16-inch guns which can go right through the bow plating of this ship. He's managed to get the torpedoes away. He wasn't lucky enough to get a citadel. He's on fire, he's popped a heel. His damage control is about to come off cooldown, but it really isn't going to make any difference, because if those torpedoes don't get him, 16-inch armour-piercing shells through the bows will. But the torpedoes were released, and the Nelson's going to eat all 3. Oh yeah. 7 kills for Black Hatches in the Gneisenau. But the game is not over yet. There are still 2 destroyers to find and kill, except you really shouldn't be chasing after destroyers in, well, much of anything other than an aircraft carrier or another destroyer. Or a radar cruiser, none of which they have. So, here's the question. 600 points up, 140 points away from winning with 3 of the 4 cap circles. Are Black Hatch's team going to take what they have and hold on to it and probably win in a minute or so when they reach 1,000 points? Or are they going to try to win any harder than they already are and throw it all away by blundering right into a whole bunch of destroyer torpedoes? Well, in a shocking development that stunned the entire world, they are in fact going to hold on to their 3 cap circles and points lead and not just go throwing it away. You can see them communicating with each other in chat there. Are you spotted? Trying to figure out where these destroyers are. The Surrey over there, taking cover behind the island after he launched his torpedoes down the gap, almost certainly still has a few charges left on his hydro. Yeah, that's assuming he bothered to select it rather than the completely pointless and useless defensive AA. And so it should be able to provide advance warning of any torpedoes for the Colorado over there, who's probably the biggest torpedo target. That poor Colorado really hasn't had a good game. He's constantly been playing catch-up, and every time he gets in a position to shoot at anything, they're all dead. There goes the Surrey's hydro. Good stuff, nice to see. And let's have a look at the Julio Cesare. Yep, he was also spotted. And rather than taking his chances with torpedoes, he's ducking into cover behind the island. Yep, they're all doing exactly what they need to do in order to not throw it and just serve themselves up to those two lurking destroyers. Oh, that was close. Yeah, not trying to win any harder than they already are. And with seconds to go, the Surrey fires off a couple of shots, feeling a bit adventurous. Hey, you never know. You might get lucky. And the team reaches 1,000 points. So, yeah, Black Hatches in the Gneisenau with 7 kills. That's not bad. Well, in this ship, it's bloody amazing. Because, unfortunately, the Gneisenau does have a well-deserved reputation for being a bad ship. And it's a shame, because there are only really 2 things that are bad about it. The fact that it's tier 7, so it only has 27mm of bow, stern, and in some places deck plating. And that's not really the Gneisenau's fault. That's just the same as all the other tier 7 battleships. But it's the horrifically bad accuracy of the guns, and the fact that it only has 6 of them, that really kind of seals the deal on this thing. So it's nice to see somebody doing well in it, because it doesn't happen often. Anyway, congratulations to Black Hatches for his victory. Everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.